Pat Caddell is one of the country's foremost Democratic strategists, going back to his days when he was a pollster for Governor Jimmy Carter of Georgia. Pat, welcome back to Brian and the Judge.
Well, good to be with y'all.
Pat, right now, who do you like?
Well, I'll tell you, you mean to win or who I like?
I want to know who Pat Caddell who feel the most comfortable supporting.
Two people at the moment I guess I'm most interested in are Obama and Edwards. I have no use for Hillary Clinton, as everyone knows. And, of course, she has no use for me, so I have to leave the country if she wins.
You can leave with O'Reilly.
Yeah, exactly. The same boat. Headed out.
Pat, why do you think you don't think that she would, if she can get together with people like Newt Gingrich and Tom DeLay, why couldn't she get together with you?
I know her too well. I've known her since 1972 in the Governor campaign.
She hasn't changed?
Well, I think she has. I think she's changed. I think someone has one of the truth for the worst. I think she's, I'll tell you, the difference is, I had a lot of problems with Bill Clinton, but, the difference between Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton is, if I walked into a room, Bill Clinton would run over and spend all of his time trying to get me to love him again. Basically, it's not if I walked in the room with Hillary Clinton, she'd wait till I turned my back and then let me have it.
Or what's the downside of her becoming president?
I'm afraid we repeat too many things that we went through before, which is, I think a Democrat who basically is aligned themselves with Wall Street and with special interests and with basically the pursuit of power is not I say this as someone who's a Democrat, doesn't make me very pleased. And so I think we also would end up pushing much more away from being much more into a special interest nation, worrying about each group rather than the country as a whole.
How much of a threat is Obama to her?
Well, I think he's a severe threat. I mean, Obama, most of all, represents in this country a change. The reason he has so much support, obviously it's not because he has a long record in politics. It's because he strikes something in people that's a real hope, that's a real feeling, a real desire to go somewhere from the future, something away from the kind of the politics of the past. And that's a very powerful attraction. Now, the problem is he has not yet been able to translate it into a political message. He gets it into people supporting him, or lots of people being interested in him, but in fact what's happened the last several months is his support is actually starting to go down. And if you look at all the polls, he's having real problems with being able to build on that, to prove. I think part of it's because people worry about his experience.
Pat, is the reality of the new system with everybody coming in earlier a different reality from the past?
No, in fact, it's more, let's put it, it's the past 10 times more. By front-loading this system, which I've been against, let me tell you something, we have a disastrous political process for choosing the leader of the free world. One of the things about the old system, and I say the old system back 3 years ago, was that it lasted a few months. If you got on a roll at the beginning, you still had to go through a process where you got tested. If this process had existed in 1984 as it does today, Gary Hart would have been the nominee of the Democratic Party before anybody blinked their eye. The kind of problem, and I love Gary very much, but I think he would have blown himself up.
All right, how about to Brian's question, though? If you win the Iowa caucuses, if you win the New Hampshire primary, is that Big Mo the way it used to be, or does Super Duper Tuesday negate or nullify the influence of the early states primaries?
No, it just makes it bigger. Because no one's got time enough to turn around and have another contest. You're 1 week away, not 2 or 3 weeks away from those contests. Someone who wins Iowa and New Hampshire both is going to win the others flat down. It's over. And that is a real problem for moving up so fast. What they should have done, this is Howard Dean's fault, and it also goes back to Terry McAuliffe's fault. They should have forced the system backwards, not forwards. There should have been more time between Iowa and New Hampshire. The key is to give people more time to look at that person coming out and to judge them and to give them a greater test. Instead, they have no test. They just have a week of just pure, unadulterated free media and support. They're going to win.
Do you think that the negatives on Hillary Clinton that are so high will eventually come down? They'll
come down, but not in the Democratic primary. They're not that high in the Democratic primary.
True. I'm talking about overall.
It's in the general election. They're not that. Eventually, when you're carrying negatives the way she's carrying them, they're going to affect you, but they're not at the moment going to affect her as much in the primary as they are in the general election.
Pat Caddell, Democratic strategist. Pat, we thank you for your thoughts. You're always welcome.
Great, thank you.
Pat Caddell, who has to leave the country
if Hillary gets elected.
This is what the First Amendment is all about.
You guys rock.
It's Brian and the Judge
You guys make my day.
on Fox News Talk.